So let's pause for a minute and talk about some AC issues in a tiny house. It seems to be everyone's going with the two options. One is the mini splits, and the other one is window units, either put through a window or placed somewhere in the wall. And you see them all the time in the tiny houses where they sit them on a wall like this, and a small interior wall, and they're blowing just across. You're not getting any circulation. That's not a good idea. So placement is important. You want them to be able to cool the entire house smoothly without having to circulate it with extra fans. So here's some of the problems with the two options you see in Dutch mini splits and in window units. Window units create a lot of moisture on the siding when you place them in the wall or in a window. You lose your window space, and they're loud, they have vibration, just not cozy and comfortable. Every AC unit builds up mold, so you have to be able to clean it. You just have to be able to clean it. The Dutch mini splits will have the exterior unit, the compressor outside, and the handler inside, and the handlers have to be serviced twice a year most of the time. You'll find that they build up the same amount of mold and dust particles as a window unit. The problem with cleaning them is it takes a professional maybe twice a year, once to twice a year, at about $200 to $400 to clean them. You can buy a kit and do it yourself, but whether you're cleaning it or professionals cleaning it, you're looking at taping off and putting plastic over the whole thing in a big funnel, because you're going to basically deodorize, bleach, and power wash in there, something of that nature. And it's just not fun, it's not practical, and it's not something you want to do in your house once or twice a year. So how do you solve the problem of AC in a tiny house without spending thousands of dollars on one of those all-in-one exterior central AC units? Here's what we've done. You'll notice right here is our register, our return air. The return air goes outside to a window unit, a 10,000 BT window unit scheduled to handle up to 500 square feet. Now, because the ceiling is so tall in here, obviously we're worrying about cubic feet. You'll notice too that the air handler pulls all the way from underneath of all those cabinets. Don't mind the construction, it's on its way to better days. So as it pulls from all underneath there, you are drawing a nice even draw all the way underneath to the back of the cabinet in a space that normally you don't use. Right here it'll sit the refrigerator, and if you know, a refrigerator in an RV or a small apartment or a tiny house creates so many BTUs of heat that it becomes so uncomfortable that you have to have your AC unit on just to circulate or counterbalance the heat being put out by the refrigerator. So we put the refrigerator right next to it, so it's going to pull and plane off of that wall as well. It'll pull that heat from the refrigerator and run it through the AC unit, and it'll come out this register cool. Well, let's take a look and see how we've done this. So before we build our garage on the back, we'll finish this off by putting a full shelf across to here, epoxy shelf, so it never rots. You've seen we've taken this 10,000 BTU air conditioning unit and we've attached it to this plenum. Inside of here is where we go back into the house, and if you look up you'll see how it is separated. There's your filter. The filter is pretty easy to bring in and out right there. Right where this line is where the intake and the output are separated. So the intake comes from the house into here, gets processed, runs up through this plenum and into this ductwork, which goes in there at the second story. The importance is you've got to keep the square inches of this surface area equal to the square inches of that surface area. And then the square inches of the output has to be equal to the square inches of the area that's going out and in. All right, let's go take another, before we go inside, let's look at one more thing. So this will plug in back here at our box where our electrical all culminates. And then we'll take this control box and we'll cut it right here and here. And we'll extend these inside the house into a central location. Let's turn it on. And let's go inside. That's normally the sound that you hear when it's running in your window. Let's see what we've got back inside the tiny house. Now we've run this for a good solid week to make sure that there's no freeze up anywhere in the system, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful balance. Okay, you see where it's blowing there? Goes in there, comes out there. Let's take a closer look upstairs. Again, it's under construction, so please don't mind the mess. Oops. Okay, so our 10-inch ductwork comes into the air handler right here. This is a single speed push fan that we've installed here. It's an 8-inch push fan that builds into this box and puts out a nice cool air right here. Hear how quiet it is? No vibration, and it's angled up and out, and therefore it just comes right across and falls over this loft and down into the kitchen area. It's also important to us that our lofts breathe on 2 or 3 sides. Here's the other side. It's vented, and that's why our showers are so tall. It comes all the way up through here. So this will get covered with plywood across here and under here and in front. It'll be boxed in so they can set shoes or luggage in or under as need be. We'll also box in the outside with plywood for safety, keep the bugs and things out of it. And we'll put some torque screws in there to make it easy access so they can service it if need be at some future event. Probably right here in a central location is where we're going to put our thermostat. So that's a little tour of our tiny house. Oh, and so you can see where it breathes through the shower. Right in there. You still end up with your privacy. That's a tour of our modified central AC unit. Easy to clean. You'll just unhitch it. Let's take a look at that real quick. So we'll attach a bungee here and here, as well as on the other side. And when we attach those bungees, you'll be able to just undo the bungee and slide it out on the shelf, on the epoxy shelf that's sitting there. Clean it, slide it back, turn it on. Simple as that. I hope you enjoy. I hope this helps. Please subscribe and give us any ideas that you have on this, how ways to improve it, ways to modify it to make it work for you. Please share with us what you do in the comments section. Love you guys. Have a great day.